Joe, you feel you got to win these rounds? You think Manny might get some of the closer rounds out of it? You feel like you got to convincingly win?
Of course, we have to convincingly win every round.
You think it might go to Manny?
You know what? This is what I feel, and this is what this stage is set for right now. You know, everybody that is going to be in that arena, even the judges feel pressure. There's a lot of pressure even on the judges due to the fact that the first one was, according to them, a controversy. You know, those judges are going to sit on that chair close to the ring with a weight on their back. I mean, if the rounds are close, and even though Bradley, I mean, the benefit of the doubt, they're going to give it to Manny. Why? Because they don't want to end up in the same bullshit as the last time. That the judges. Looking at the judges. I mean, if you got judges around the ring and they see a fight, hey, those judges are supposed to be professional people. We don't even know who they are. I mean, if you ask me, honestly, I don't even know who the judges were. I don't even know who the judges are going to be for this fight. We just come to fight. We don't care about anything else. We just focus on one person, and that's Manny Pacquiao. We don't care who the judges are. I just hope they do their job. But we know for a fact that those judges sitting around that ring Saturday night are going to be pressured to make the right decisions, because there's weight on their back due to the controversy that happened in 2012.
When you were waiting for the decision for the first fight, Joel, did you think you were going to get it then? You thought you won the fight, so you thought you would get the decision?
Not only I thought, when the bell rang, I told a guy in my corner, I told him, get in there and pick him up. We won this fight. Was that right?
Yeah, man, it didn't do anything.
I told him.
He didn't fight the whole round?
I mean, really? You can see fights around the ring. You can see fights from a different angle. I honestly tell you, when I told the guy in the corner, I said, get in there and put him on your shoulder. We won this fight. He did. Okay, now, coming into Manny Pacquiao's house. This is his house. MGM, Las Vegas, this is Manny Pacquiao's fight. At the end of the fight, I said, okay, you know, I thought, okay, yeah, get in there and pick him up. We won this fight. But back in my mind, it's like, okay, it's Manny Pacquiao's house. You know, he is the cash cow of the sport right now. We're not going to get it. Okay? But to me, going home with a Tim Bradley that walked out on his feet from the ring, to me it was a win. Timothy went 12 rounds with Manny Pacquiao and came out clean. To me, that was a win. But honestly, when the bell rang at the end of the fight, I did. And I'm telling you, I mean, I'm a man of my word. I don't bullshit. I told Jackson, get in there, put him on your shoulder. We got this.
Were you surprised or astounded by the really severe backlash, though, that came from fans and media?
I feel like I was hit by a truck on the face when everything was like, okay, he won the fight. I mean, that celebration minutes later became like a funeral. That's how we felt. I felt like, you know, wow, you know, we felt the spark of joy. And then minutes later, looking at everybody's face and everybody approaching us and walking to the dressing room, it felt like somebody in my family died.
Do you guys, maybe both could answer this, do you think it was racially motivated, a lot of the abuse that Tim took, or do you think it was just strictly as fight fans?
I don't really know. I won't know how to answer that question because
I wouldn't either. I don't know.
I never think about that because I don't see that ratio in the sport. I mean, maybe I'm too naive to see stuff like that. But I'm just focusing on that one particular thing is a fight. But we're coming now, and hopefully giving the people what they want to see and going home. Everybody sending home everybody happy. Like I said, the sport of boxing is a sport that brings a lot of surprises. We're not scared of losing. You lose some, you win some. But this is the name of the game. If Manny Pacquiao knocks out Tim Bradley Saturday night, you know what? We go home. Sometimes it's better a defeat than a controversy the way we ended up that night. It's worse. Believe me, 2 years, we've had a ghost following us, man, everywhere. We can't approach any event. We cannot go to an event when people talk about a Manny Pacquiao Bradley fight, and there's always a negative approach. And it hurts you more when you're with your family and people just insulting you. Accusing you of stealing something that supposedly belongs to the world when we had nothing to do. And there's nothing you can do about it.
You were saying you weren't sure if it was a racial thing. It seems like the most disrespected fighters in boxing that are undefeated are African Americans. And Bradley, Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I do agree. You know, those guys are the technical fighters of the business. You know, in my perspective is, if you look up the word boxing, you hit and don't get hit. A fight is different. Then this sport should be named fight. You know, if you want to see a fight, go to a bar. You see a fight, that's a fight. You wanna watch a boxing? Go and watch HBO. Look in the ring, and there's a fight. You see a fighter that will hit you and will not get hit. That's called boxing. It's a sweet science of the sport. You hit and don't get hit. You know, people want to see a dogfight. People want to see blood. I mean, cuts everywhere. I mean, go to a bar. You see them. You want to see a boxing fight? Turn it on TV and come and see this. But you know, I see your point, and you are right. You know, Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest boxers in the world. Andre Ward, Tim Bradley, and there's many more. You know, that don't get the credit because they're African Americans. But they're great fighters, and nobody can beat them. In that square, there's two people. If you can beat them, well, there's nobody else in there. It's just them two. Take them out. And if they can't, there's got to be a reason why.
It seems like Tim might have a bit of a chip on his shoulder. Do you have one too?
You know, I don't think about it. You know, I just put in my work. I believe that if you work hard in the gym, and you put your fighter through pain, you come to the fight, pain is not going to be any different.
Not only has Tim not gotten maybe the respect he deserves, but I think you as well. Does that ever affect you, or do you ever think about that? Why is it your camp that maybe doesn't get the clout, the recognition?
You know,
you had an incredible year last year.
Thank you. You know, a lot of people tell me, you know this, you do this, you know. I don't. I really don't. And they're like, we like that about you, that you don't realize what you've done. I don't. I'm not here. I'm not fighting I'm not fighting for a trophy. I'm here for my fighter. You know, I see a lot of trainers that are out there fighting to see, you know, if they're trainers of the year, or, you know, sometimes they don't even get the trainer of the year just because they have some sort of influence with somebody here and there, they get it, you know. But I'm not here for that. I don't really think about me. I care about my fighters. I mean, I'm there to guide them. I'm there to help them. You know, at the end of the day, as long as they're successful, that's fine. There's a man up there. He's looking straight down at us. He knows what I do. He knows what we do. As long as they perform well, as long as they're healthy and they're safe in that ring, that's what matters. I'm not here fighting for a trophy. I'm here working for my fighters.
You said that controversy, that a loss is better than a controversy. On some levels, would a loss even be like a relief? Like, you know, that people will stop talking about what happened the first time?
That's exactly what I mean. You know, a loss is better than a controversy because, you know, there's times in which you go home with a loss and, you know, you have the people say, man, hey, that was a great fight, man, hey, you know, next time. Or, hey, you fought good, but, you know, things happen, you know. Better than, oh, you stole something, you F this, you F that, you mother this, and they're like, wow, you know, hey, there's nothing you can do about that, you know. Manny Pacquiao generated a lot of fans. He earned them through his hard work. You know, I don't blame him. He's a great fighter. He's a great man. He's a great person. You know, I'm a big fan of Manny Pacquiao. You know, everything he has accomplished, he accomplished with his hard work and effort. You know, and I don't blame him for having so much fans. You know, and it's not his fault that the fans attacked us for what happened that night. You know, I don't blame Manny. Manny's a great person. But, you know, people just don't realize that, you know, we're just, besides athletes, they're entertainers. And there's a business behind the sport. And we don't know about it. We just come to work. You know, we go in, put in our hours of work in the gym, and we prepare ourselves to come and give the people a fight. You know, what happens after, we don't know.
Look at the poster. Boxing tradition holds that whoever won the first fight and whoever's the champion would have his name first on the poster, right? So by traditional standards, it should be Bradley Pacquiao too.
Right.
How do you feel about that? That it's Pacquiao Bradley too?
You know, it's always been like that. Honestly, that doesn't bother me. Since Timothy started his career, if you go back and look at his record, Tim Bradley's always been an underdog. He's always been the fighter that everybody doubts. And I will be surprised that day that they say, "Oh, Tim's the favorite." That day I will be surprised. That day will throw me out.
Tim seems to really be in a good place right now. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, he is in a good place because he has a great team. He has a good family. He has a good head on his shoulders, and plus he has a lot of confidence and he puts in his work. When we left town, we packed up all our artilleries, and we leave anything behind. Just when we know that, it's a big relief for us. As you can see, I'm ready. I don't care. I'm just waiting for the day. There's nothing that worries me. Why? Because I analyze everything. If there was any incidents that happened, or is there any doubts in my mind because we left something behind, or we didn't do this, or something happened to Timothy, then I'll be concerned, I'll be worried. But right now, I'm really relaxed and waiting for Saturday night. Whatever's gonna happen, that night's gonna happen. But I'm telling you right now, Tim Bradley is 100% ready mentally, physically, to show the world that what happened June 12th is gonna be different this time.
Hey, Joel, let me ask this. At the end of the first fight, Max Kellerman started off the interview kind of giving his own assessment, his own opinion before he even got the answers out from the fighters. Do you think that kind of altered the way maybe Manny Pacquiao answered his questions and the way the fans reacted, which gave us this huge backlash that we have now?
You mentioned it, I could have said it a long time ago, but I always tell everybody, commentators influence the fans to see the fight they want to see.
Yeah.
It's always been like that.
Was it? Sorry. Go ahead.
The approach of Max Kellerman, his approach, the way he approached the fighter first, opened the eyes on the other team to say, hey, he's right. Because if you look at the end of the fight, I watched the fight over and over, and there's things that a lot of people don't see. Look at Manny Pacquiao's corner at the end of the fight. Everybody's face is down. Everybody's like, they felt defeated. Honestly, I can tell you. When you feel like you win the fight, the team is excited. If you look at Manny Pacquiao's corner, everybody, his advisor, his attorney, Boo Boy, everybody. The bell rings, they go to the corners, we're taking off the gloves, and you look focused on their corner, everybody's faces are down. Why? Now, it was after Max Kellerman approached him with his approach and his question that opened everybody's eyes. And like I said, I went home and I watched the fight. And watching the fight, Tim Bradley's blocking all those punches. He's even showing them, and you hear the commentators. And another straight left by Manny Pacquiao. And like, what? I was watching it this morning. Tim catches Manny with a straight right, and then Lampley says, and another straight left by Manny. I go, wow. That's what I mean. I go back. I'm a big fan of boxing. One of my favorite boxers since I grew up, it was Marvin Hagler. I love Marvin Hagler. To me, Marvin Hagler was the greatest ever. I grew up watching him. I cried when I saw him lose to Sugar Ray Leonard. But then I went back and I turned off the volume and he won the fight, honestly. Sugar Ray Leonard was, just throwing punches here and there. And they were like, rooting him. The commentators like, oh, wow, look at Sugar Ray Leonard. But they never said anything when Marvin Hagler was catching him, And I go back and I go, that's true. If you could watch a fight with volume, you get influenced by the commentators. You could watch the fight and see this guy win when he really did it. That's what I thought. The commentators, Max Kellerman had a lot to do with that night. But oh well. Honestly, we were around the corner. We were in the corner. I was watching everything. One of the judges that gave the fight to Bradley that night, I didn't know who it was. I had a fight in San Antonio, Texas. Omar Figueroa fought that night. I was at the press conference and the man approaches me and he says that he left the sport. Because he left the sport because he didn't like the sport the way it was the business. But he told me, he gave me his card. If you ever need something, you let me know, sir. He goes, keep your head up. I was there, I judged that fight. I saw Bradley winning the fight. I cannot give the fight to somebody that only works 30 seconds of every round. Manny Pacquiao was only working 30 seconds of every round. Bradley was the busiest.
How many times have you watched that fight?
Maybe a couple times.
A couple of times.
Yeah, I really don't. I watch it when I need to watch it, and when I have to. Like this morning, I was just watching because they don't. I just shot like little replays just to see what Manny does, what he does constantly. That's for my game plan because I know him. I've seen Manny since he started showing up on TV. When he fought Barrera, I watch all those fights. But I really don't watch fights unless I have to, just to recap something that would help me for my game plan.
There was probably a long time you couldn't watch it at all. There was no way.
I watched it live. I watched it live that day. Why would I watch it again?
Joel, after the 10th round, which is arguably Tim Bradley's best round, HBO decided to show a replay of the 4th round when Tim Bradley got hurt instead of showing a replay of Tim Bradley doing anything in the 10th round. Have you guys talked to HBO about this when it comes to,
You know what? Sometimes at this point, what we want is less of the controversy. You know, we don't want to deal with these guys because, you know, sometimes they can make you and they can break you. You know, so we just keep it cool with everybody. We try to keep our team very professional. You know, we're not the type of people that will come here to aggravate anybody or you know, always ask you why you did it or why didn't you. You know, we just, you know, I can just maybe tell you a couple words, but those words mean a lot. You know, and I understand your point of view, and it's true because I remember the last 2 rounds I told Tim, I said, he's fatigued. Apply pressure. Tighten up your defense and go forward. If you see the last 2 rounds, Tim was applying pressure. Tim was the one going forward. Manny was going back. And, you know, things happen, and now we close that chapter. But this Saturday night is part of that chapter so that everybody can go home. We're relieved. Everybody goes home relieved. Whatever happens that night, we just want to go home and rest. After Saturday night, we feel like we're going to remove a big old weight from our back and walk on.
Do you think that? Can I ask you one question? Yeah, you can't that Manny landed that straight left a lot. What's Tim Bradley going to do about that?
Well,
I mean, he landed that. Tim turned with it really well and avoided the next punches, but he got hit with a straight left and Manny went outside a lot.
Oh yeah. He got hit with that. So, I mean, I know, but there was times in which it was ridiculous. Like here goes another straight left, and Tim
I'm not arguing about who won the fight. I'm just asking you, how's he going to improve his defense against that punch in this fight?
Well, of course, his defense is going to be improved now because he's going to be mentally ready. He's not going to have. Hopefully, he don't have any injuries in the fight. You know, that night, you know, just following the game plan with that with that pain on his feet was hard to follow up. You know, I mean, when you have pain, especially severe pain, like the way he had that night, it was really hard to follow up a game plan the way we had it. When you have to concentrate on the plan and concentrate.
What was the game plan for getting away from the straight left hand?
What was it?
Yeah.
Stay low and move.
Yeah, you don't need a lot of shots.
Every time he stayed low, he was staying out, coming off balance and going back, and that's when he was landing that straight left. You know, but basically it was, you know, stay low, move, give me angles, you know, but with his feet, you know, Tim has great angles. When he uses his feet real well, he will not get hit with that straight leg. Of course, it's a fight. You will get hit, but not so many times, and you will see it Saturday night. That straight leg might land a couple times, of course, but not as many times as his last one.
How much do you think Manny Pacquiao has left as a fighter? Did you say you're a fan of his? You've been watching him since he's on TV. How much do you think he has?
Manny Pacquiao still has gas in the tank, but you know. After a severe knockout like the one he had in the previous fight, it can really affect you. It can really affect you, and you go back at his age, a concussion like that can really do damage to your body and your brain. I watched the Brandon Rios fight. That Brandon Rios fight was handpicked for him, especially.
Does it ever come back if you lose it once?
I mean, it will come back, but it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder. You're gonna have to really want it. But when you look back and look at what you have, and you say, man, I don't think I need it, you're not as hungry. I mean,
why is Tim Bradley? Why do you think Tim Bradley is hungrier than Manny Pacquiao right now?
Because Hungry fights for legacy. Bradley fights for legacy. He wants a place in the boxing world where he's considered Hall of Famer. He wants to be considered one of the best. And that boy really works for what he wants. He really works extremely hard. And you know, Manny Pacquiao is going to come to beat Bradley that night. And of course, like everybody else, try. But it's hard. I'm telling you, even though you guys don't like Tim Bradley's style of fighting, he just has his way to win.
Why do you think Manny still fights?
Manny still fights. I think it's because he has a big corporation behind him, and there's a lot of people that rely on him. I think there's a lot of people that depend on him, and if he's done, a lot of people are gonna be done too.
boxing relies on him?
Yeah, because he's given some of the biggest fights in history, and of course they still want to see that Manny Pacquiao, you know. But it's been years since we don't see that explosive Manny Pacquiao. I think the last fight was when he fought Cotto, Margarito. I think that was like his last greatest fight. After that, I mean, Marquez, you know, Marquez and him were already partners, you know. They were already basically dance partners already. So now I just think that Manny just keeps doing it because the sport needs him. The sport of boxing needs him. There's a lot of people that need for him to be in the sport still, and you know, and I don't understand why he's still, you know, he should have been done, you know, maybe a year ago. Oh yeah, he does. Randy knows because he's a smart kid. He's always watching, he's always analyzing, and he sees a lot of good things and a lot of bad things.
So do you believe that saying that old dogs can learn new tricks applies to Manny, and you guys pretty much have been locked down in terms of game plan and strategy?
Well, I saw it at one point when Floyd Mayweather tried to change Oscar De La Hoya and it didn't work. You know, I mean, I just believe that a fighter establishes his style from the beginning. You know, through his amateur career and to the professional career. Once you got that style, believe me, it's hard to change it. It's very, very hard to change it. I never change my fighters. I work with their styles. You know, and I see that, you know, they're trying to make Manny Pacquiao a body hunter. When was he ever a body hunter? He's always a head hunter. You know, now, Chavez came over along to give him some tips on how to go to the body. Well, thank you. We appreciate Chavez for coming and help him because instead of helping him, he's going to confuse him. Manny Pacquiao's not a body puncher. He's a head hunter. You know, so we'll see what happens.
Well, you or Bradley ever flirting with the idea of fighting Floyd Mayweather?
You know, we never thought about it, but we joked about it. You know, Bradley and I a couple times, you know, we joked about it. At one point, I remember after he fought Guerrero, I go to his house. I walk to his house and I go, "Hey Tim, did you see that fight?" He goes, "Yeah, coach." He says, "Man, that guy, he's bad. Mayweather's bad." He says, if I ever fight Floyd Mayweather, he says, even if I say I got him down there, he goes, "I would love to fight him." He says, "But if I ever fight Floyd and I go to that podium, and I'm never gonna talk shit." He says, "If I get on the podium, all I'm gonna say is, Floyd, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share the ring with you." You know, like, you know, but it's because he sees how technical Floyd is, man. You know, Floyd Mayweather is, I mean, he sees what you're gonna do before you even do it. A lot of people don't give you credit, man. I had a lot of people come to me, and after he fought Canelo, I mean, especially the Mexican fans. I'm a Mexican, man. They attack me like, "Oh, he sold himself. And that wasn't the Canelo." I go, "Man, it's because Floyd doesn't let him do what he wants him to do. It's different when you're in that ring." But Bradley, a lot of times, you know, we consider, beating Manny Pacquiao this Saturday. Of course, you know, it will be an honor, and it will be a great challenge to share the ring with a fighter like Floyd.
How do you fight a fighter like that?
Man, with a lot of intelligence.
Hey, Joel, I know. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Joel, I know you watched the fight a whole bunch of times, or a couple of times. I've noticed watching over that Pacquiao, he ties up a lot on the inside. You were talking about he's not a body puncher. He's been tying up a lot. Were you guys surprised, you know, how he couldn't fight on the inside? And what else did you notice when you watched the fight over and over again that you guys are going to implement in the rematch?
Manny Pacquiao is a fighter that can only hit you when you're at the end of a punch. That's that. If you close the gap on him, he can punch you. Either you gotta be outside or you gotta be inside. But you cannot be at medium range. You know, I saw that because every time Timothy closed the gap on him, Timothy was taking the best out of him. Because Manny Pacquiao cannot punch. Manny Pacquiao is a fighter that locks his elbows every time he punches. Like, cut. So you need to be there. If you're any closer, he can't punch you. You need to be way out there or in here. If you're right here, he's always going to catch you. And if you're standing straight up, he's always going to catch you. You always gotta keep moving on. I mean, I follow Manny Pacquiao forever. You know, he's a great fighter. I love Manny Pacquiao. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Manny Pacquiao. But this is a business where I have to prepare my fight to be one of these guys. This is part of my job, you know? It's something that will make me feel good saying, okay, I set the strategy. I put the plan to beat a guy like that. You know, it's an honor just to say, you know what? Because I'm the one that does the fundamentals in the gym. This is what we're gonna do. For this one, Tim Bradley's in the ring and he's making mistakes and I stop, hey, stop. I stop the sparring in between the rounds. Hey, I don't want you to do. I just told you. This is what we're working on. All right, coach. All right. You know, that's what we do. We correct fighters because we have a plan and we have to follow it. If we don't follow it, it's not gonna work.
Joel, I see that you have a cross hanging around your neck, and I know that Tim Bradley is also a Christian. Freddie Roach said that once Manny Pacquiao started reading the Bible, that he lost his killer instinct, that he became very soft. Can you address that, or is that just a bunch of shit?
You know, there is a big change. There is a big change in Manny. Since Manny made that change in his life.
That has to do with reading the Bible, being Christian?
You know, I really don't know. I'm telling you, I believe in God, but I don't even remember when the last time I went to church. I can tell you one thing. I was raised with my grandparents, and one day my grandpa told me, son, you don't need to go to church if you believe in God. Just, you know, kneel down right by a tree, ask God, and thank God. That's all you need. This right here is something I carry for many, many years because my brother owned a jewelry store. He gave it to me. You know, that doesn't mean I'm a Christian. I'm religious. This is all I have. I have a lot of jewelry I don't have on me. I don't like to wear it, but that's the way I see it. You know.
You atheist motherfucker. You get on your knees and question.
Well, I think they took the Bible from him for this fight because apparently, you know, that's gonna bring it to it.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, they can take it. They can take his Bible whenever they want. But he already read that Bible. It's in here. You know, it's his belief now. That Bible already got into his mind. He don't have to read it. It's already there. That's what he believes on already.
Well, she bring up a good question. Speaking of the Bible, Pacquiao, he told Bradley in the first fight that God told him not to knock him out. So I want to know what God told. I actually asked Manny, what did God tell you to do in this fight? And he kind of got puzzled, and then he said, well, God told me just to do my best. So I guess God probably didn't tell him to get a knockout this time either, huh?
Just do your best. Wow. I mean, you know, I don't really have much communication with God because, like I told you, I don't go to church. But I believe that He's looking straight down at me, and He sees the work I put in every day with my fighters. And I believe that if you work hard, you get compensated. You know. And Timothy and I have worked extremely hard, and I know that we're going to get compensated at the end of the road.
How much is
He must,
you know what I was talking when Freddie's talking?
he must love when I
You should have heard her questions earlier.
Tim got hit.
Burning up the
Always
table.
changing up.
I wanted to ask Freddie that.
You know, when he gets on the ropes, he
I
starts
asked
swinging
Manny that
wild, which
question.
is all
I said to Manny the
How
other day,
much different is Tim from Tim the Fox
what did God tell you?
Well, Provodnikov and Manny are two different styles. They're two different styles.
But on the way Tim fought,
Oh, yeah.
he evolved from
We're talking about mixed emotions. That fight, there was a lot of emotions in that fight that were left behind, that were brought from the previous fight.
And I guess the point I'm trying to make is how much did those emotions lead to some of the bad habits that got him in trouble in that fight? Because, you know, like
Well,
you said,
they're not going to work for this one. I mean, if we would have went straight to a rematch, then that would have been a concern. Because Timothy was emotionally hurt, and I know that Timothy wanted to release that anger, you know, towards the world boxing. Now, whoever came up next, and it happened to be Ruslan Provodnikov. That's why it was good that he learned his lesson with Ruslan and prepared himself after that with Marquez, and now he's composed to go back in the ring again.
Freddie says kind of some of the keys are trying to get Tim in trouble, get him more, get him on the ropes. And I mean, what do you guys do try to do Canada to keep him away from that? Or do you want to keep him away from that?
We want him to come look for us in the rope. Our work is in the rope. Whatever they want to do, we got it. I mean, I bring Timothy to the ropes. I bring him to the ropes, and I tell him, this is what you're going to do. Invite him to come. Invite him to come. At this point of his career, he needs to put in the work. all Timothy needs to do is just sit back and hunt him down.